Biden has made all side hustles and gig work illegal. Facts or misinformation? We're going to get into this deeper here. I made a video here just a few days ago, and I've come across a lot of things on the internet recently because as of March 11th, President Biden, and what the reports are saying out there is that President Biden has gone and made all side hustles and gig work illegal, and that could impact over 80 million Americans out there right now and can really upset the economy in terms of all of the 1099 workers that are out there. Okay, so I'm going to dive into this much deeper. We're going to separate some facts from fictions, and I'm going to tell you some of the reports that I'm seeing right now, and we're going to call out what we think is, fair, and what we think is, just straight BS, a plan to really just collect more taxes from the administration. Okay, turns out there's a lot of truth to the myth of whether gig work is now illegal. Okay, there's a lot of things pointing to the truth of it, that it's been turned gig work and the side hustles illegal. Okay, I found articles discussing the new labor laws, the new labor rules that are out there that are really shaking things up, making side hustles a bit complicated right now. So they're not exactly banned, all right? So you can continue driving Uber, Lyft, being a 1099 worker, delivering things to grocery stores. All of the FedEx drivers out there, my heart goes out to you guys right now because there's going to be a lot of things stirring up in your direction right now, okay? But they're scrutinizing the 1099 workers a lot more closely, and I'm going to break it all down for you guys, okay? So the United States Department of Labor rolled out this final ruling in January 2024 that took effect March 11th of this year, 2024. This rule pressures companies to treat more gig workers and independent contractors, anybody under that 1099, as a regular employee, a W-2 regular employee. Now, this is so complicated to do this, okay? The idea is to prevent companies from cutting corners by misclassifying workers to save a buck. I'm not really, this is one of those moments where I'm going to call it out. They don't really save a buck. They still spend a lot of money on the 1099 laborers, okay? According to the Labor Secretary, the misclassification hurts low-income workers the most, depriving them from benefits like minimum wage and unemployment insurance. And for all of you out there who drive Uber, Lyft, 1099 jobs, 1099 work, gig work, they're not technically jobs, okay, but you're out there working at 1099, you know yourself that you make well above minimum wage, and that's why you do it, right? There's a lot of freedoms that come with it. You're your own boss, but you know that you're making well above minimum wage. The majority out there right now is making 20, 30, 40, even 50 and $60 an hour from gig work. And, it goes well beyond that, because if you get into some of these 1099s, you could be paid hundreds of dollars an hour, okay? So that Labor Secretary report, I'm just going to call part of the BS as a method of trying to collect more taxes, because this truly hits the people that are not on minimum wage, okay? This truly hits the people that are making 20, 30, 40, 50, $60 an hour, who use the 1099 work and they use all of their write-offs to reduce their tax burden, okay? You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking right to you guys. You're going to reduce your tax burden by driving and recording your miles and recording, using your home offices as write-offs and using all sorts of things as write-offs, right? So you know who you guys are out there. And so you're probably screaming at this video right now saying, yeah, it's a bunch of BS, okay? All right, we're going to dive into this a lot deeper, so stick around here. We got a lot more to come, all right? I'm Edward Bilder. Thanks so much for tuning in for another video today. And don't forget to check back daily, because I do have some here today, gone tomorrow sort of stuff, like grant updates and business funding updates. You never want to miss those things. If you never want to miss anything, just join the channel, become a subscriber. It's free to do. Or you can go up to the description right now and join my email list, also free to do, and I send out updates there regularly. Remember, I also keep my phone number found in the description. You could text coach to that phone number if you want to be hooked up with a free consultation. We could talk about building business credit, scaling your startup, scaling your current business, or I love to talk about real estate as well. I have a beautiful course found in the description. It's the gateway strategy to get you into real estate using other people's money and cash flowing within 30 days. You can check that out. It's on a mega sale right now, found in the description. You don't want to miss that one out. And while you're up there, grab your free stocks from places like Webull. Check them out in the description. Guys, let's get into the video. Now, here's where the new rule gets very interesting, okay? Because the new rule lays out these 6-factor tests to decide if somebody should be treated as an independent contractor or as an employee. This basically will determine if you are a side hustler, a gig worker, or if you should be classified as a straight employee, okay? And yeah, it will have an impact, okay? But it's not just about the side gigs. Plenty of work from home jobs do fall under this scrutiny too. We discussed all of the remote positions on this channel. We talk about so many things that you could just do, app-based gig work that you could just do on your phone. These things are going to be scrutinized as well, and you guys are going to be affected. So this truly is kind of crazy what's happening right now, okay? So let's break this down a bit deeper here, okay? Because the new rule might shake things up for those work from home positions, as I said earlier, especially those 1099s that companies give out. According to the 6-factor test, if a company provides you with a set schedule, equipment, and you depend solely on that job, just that single job for income, you might no longer be considered an independent contractor, okay? So those things right there are keys. And, we know this as a fact already. That's not a new rule. That's a rule that's been out for a long time. If you're using your own equipment, you've purchased your equipment, you can be classified as a 1099 because it's basically like you're trading your not your time for work by using somebody else's equipment. You're a business who is working with another business and you're bringing your own equipment, okay? So if you are solely depending on that one position to be your 1099 and you have no other 1099s out there, you could now be classified as a W-2 employee. Now there's some businesses out there who, they hire in temps, okay? And some of the temps really excel, but they can't exactly hire a new W-2 employee under their current financial position inside of their business. So they just say, all right, we'll convert you to a 1099 and you can stay on long term, and they eliminate the temp agency at that point, okay? And so they're basically paying a business as a business expense and not another head inside of their count, right? Inside of their indirect and direct labor force, okay? So that particular person may now be considered a 1099, okay? And you'd have to become an employee if that is the case, and it's a whole different ballgame. I know a lot of people are going to be looking for new positions if you guys are doing that right now. So let's talk about examples. Under the new test, some drivers for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash could be classified as employees as well. That means that minimum wage, overtime pay, healthcare benefits, and paid time off will also be included in that particular position. Now, that also means that you will be paying a lot more taxes. Okay, if you're in the 20 to 30% bracket, figure yourself going up to the 30 to 40% bracket is what that will look like. Okay, if you can't set your own schedule, you can't choose where and when to work. It's like putting a cap on your potential earnings, right? And so Uber, DoorDash, all those people, they set your schedule. Even though like your schedule is, if you want to just turn it on and turn it off, that's my schedule. I'm going to go on in 15 minutes because I said so. You're still under a schedule that they're putting in front of you, right? So they pop a schedule up in front of you and you get to select that as the schedule. It's their schedule, right? You're following their schedule. And so it's putting us into that gray area for that particular classification. Now, there are a lot of other factors there with the Uber, DoorDash, Lyft drivers. They're using their own equipment, right? You're not relying on their equipment. So how is that going to play out in the long run? Will Uber, DoorDash, and Lyft now have to require you to get one of their vehicles? It's going to get very messy, right? It's going to get extremely messy, okay? And it's not just about the ride-sharing folks, okay? This could affect another bunch of independent contractor roles that are out there in various industries. Think about like carpenters, plumbers, electricians, anybody who relies heavily on one company for work. If you're in some of those unions and you're doing freelance just for that one particular company, you could be affected by this. Even freelance riders, home health care aides, and delivery drivers could be impacted. The delivery drivers I'm talking about are your FedEx workers. You guys rely on FedEx and only FedEx to be your delivery source, right? So that could really affect you guys and could really impact you as well, okay? So it's really important right now to keep yourselves informed in this whole process. Stay in the loop, stay with the channel, because I'm going to dive deeper into this as this whole thing unfolds. Now, before we go, I want to dive deeper into those independent contractors who sell products in the stores. All right. If you're selling products for just one company, like folks hustling jewelry, beauty products, you might not be considered independent contractors anymore. You could end up being classified as employees, and that's just really scratching the surface. You got individuals who stock grocery items. You got individuals who go with sodas, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. All those people buy their truck route and they go and they stock that stuff. Amazon right now, you could buy a truck route from Amazon. It's like $10,000 or so, and your potential earnings are anywhere between $80,000 and $150,000 with Amazon truck last mile deliveries, right? Those individuals could now be classified as a W-2 and no longer a 1099. Okay, this rule is really super fresh and it's likely to change. I'm just going to say that because companies like Uber, they're already challenging this in court. I have no updates yet on any of those things that are being challenged, but there's got to be a lot of budge and wiggle room to this whole thing, because imagine that Uber would have to go out and provide you a car. It will never happen. Uber will just fold. They'll close down, and all those rideshare companies will have a big problem. Okay. Now, on the other hand, the government sees this as a shift from the independent contractors to employees as a win-win. And of course they do, right? Because it also means they're going to collect a lot more taxes, all right? More benefits for the workers mean one job can better support one family. I don't know about that one, okay? But on the flip side, there is a downside. Companies might face a lot higher operating costs, 30% more in operating costs by switching everybody over to employees. And what does that mean? There could be job losses that come from this. There could be fewer opportunities out there presented to people. For independent contractors, of course, they'll just basically drift away, okay? And there'll be more in-house work for existing employees. And therefore, all of the prices that we see on the shelves right now, guess what? They're also going to go up. It's just, that's just going to happen. If they have a 30% increase, all of the prices will also go up, okay? So you could be squeezing out customers that can no longer afford to buy these things, okay? But the long story short, there's a lot at stake here. Some workers might lose their flexibility, while others could gain more stable job opportunities. So it's a complex situation that that some might find this to be to the advantage, but I know that majority of all side hustlers right now are screaming over this. They did not want it, and they do not want it, and they will not want it in the future. Now, let's shake this up a little bit further here. Now, remember, I'm not a legal advisor or any type of tax advisor. So if you want to get the firsthand information, hit up the Department of Labor's website. There's a lot of resources on there that you could go and read this firsthand and forget all the misinformation that's out there. Just read it yourself, and you'll start to see that this is a true new rule that's out there. And it is technically claiming that some of these 1099 positions are illegal, okay? So you're going to have to start keeping some really good record keeping right now. Take track of your hours, expenses, your income, like how your life depends on it, right? Like literally make this like your goal to keep a ton of records, because when it comes for tax time, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to be hit with that you just probably will just get steamrolled, okay? So maybe it's time to diversify your client base as well. So if you're only relying on one source, start mixing it up and adding a lot more sources in there. Spread your wings out a bit, okay? And start enterprising. That's kind of how I do things. I enterprise, and I take on a lot of different 1099 positions, and I take on a lot of things inside of businesses, so that I'm not just under one roof collecting money from just one source. Because if that source goes away one day, guess what? We're all out of the money, okay? Now, don't shy away from having a chat with your clients and companies about this. They should be up to speed with this. HR is probably having a nightmare with this right now, okay? So let them know that you know about the rules, and start conversing with them inside of your business, okay? Now, I broke down this complex issue for you guys, not to scare you, but to really just alert you on the things that are happening out there, okay? And remember, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but you're going to have to start changing the way you view a lot of these side hustles and a lot of this gig work, okay? Stay tuned to the channel. We got a lot more to come. That's all for today. I appreciate you tuning in for another one. Remember to become a subscriber, or head on up to the description and just join my email list so you never miss my here today, gone tomorrow sort of stuff, like grant updates or funding deadlines, right? There's always going to be something that might not be there tomorrow, okay? So check back with us daily or join the email list. Remember, you could always text coach to my number found in the description if you want to get hooked up with a free consultation. There's never any upfront charge, okay? We could talk about building business credit, scaling your current business, or if you're in a startup, or we could talk about real estate. I do have an awesome course found in the description. It is the gateway strategy into real estate. Check that out, all right? Guys, grab your free stocks before you go. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so none of this was financial advice. And I'll catch you guys all on the next one. Bye for now.